Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, then thanks so much for joining. In this video, you'll learn how to send emails via the SendGrid package in Node.js using a Gmail account. So whether you're creating a contact form or generating automated emails as part of an e-commerce integration with Stripe, or whatever the use case may be, I hope that this video can be a building block to get you there faster. So if you're not familiar with it yet, SendGrid is a platform that provides some pretty robust tools and APIs to send automated, customizable, and scheduled emails. And they actually offer a pretty generous free tier. They used to offer up to 40,000 emails in the first 30 days. Maybe that was a Black Friday promo or something, but they still allow up to 100 emails per day for free forever. So that's more than enough to play around with and maybe even integrate into a small business or project. And the paid plans allow something like up to 50,000 emails before they start charging you any more than 15 bucks. That's pretty reasonable. Okay, with that out of the way, go ahead and create a SendGrid account if you don't have one already. Now, there's not any surprises during the sign-up process, no credit cards required or anything like that, so I won't go through that process in this video, though you may have to set up two-factor authentication. In addition to the SendGrid account, you'll also need an existing Gmail account. So if you don't have one of those that you'd like to use for this tutorial, go ahead and create a new one, or just use one you already have. And no special settings are required for that Gmail account. Now that we have SendGrid and Gmail accounts ready to go, we need to create a sender identity, and this is what your user will see when they receive an email from you. As you can see here, we have two options: creating a single sender or authenticating a domain. For production level applications, it's generally recommended to authenticate a domain and send email via a domain email address, but that doesn't affect the code that we'll write to actually send the email in Node.js, which is the purpose of this video, and sending via a Gmail address is honestly fine for learning, testing, or a small personal project, or even a very small business. If you're interested in a video tutorial on sending via a domain email, definitely let me know in the comments section below. So we'll select Create a Single Sender, and you should see a form pop out here. And most of this doesn't really matter here, just make sure that the From email address field has the Gmail address that you want to appear as the sender. So that's the Gmail account that you created or want to use for this video. And for company name and address, put real or fake data based on your use case, doesn't really matter. So we'll start filling this out here. For the From name, say Node.js, and I've created a Gmail account for this video already. So I'll use that here. And I'll just use the same account for the reply. And I'll use an old work address for the company address. And for the nickname, we'll just call it Node.js sender. And we'll select create. And we'll notice that the sender has been created. Awesome. Now we need to go verify that sender email address. You should see that email come in, and we'll click that and verify the single sender. As a quick plug, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you're interested in more content like this. Excellent, sender verified. So we'll go back here and refresh this. And now we've got this new sender and it is verified. Perfect. Now that we've got that sender address set up and verified, we'll switch over to the code to install some dependencies and get things ready for our API key. So I have this folder created already, send email in Node.js, and I've got it open in VS Code, but feel free to use an editor of your choice. So first I'll initialize the folder as an npm project, and I'll do that with the -y flag to just skip all the configurations. And for this video, we only need two npm packages, and that's the SendGrid/mail and the .env packages. I'm using npm, but yarn works just fine if you prefer. So we'll install these, and that's at SendGrid/mail and .env. Perfect. And now we'll create just a couple files over here. So first we're going to create a .env file, and this is going to hold environment variables, specifically our SendGrid API key in just a moment. And then we'll add an index file for our code. All right, so hopping back over to SendGrid, we'll need to create an API key so we can actually send emails. In the sidebar, go ahead and click on Settings if it's not open already, and then API keys. Now, as a disclaimer, I will be showing my API key in this video just to show exactly where everything goes and what to do with it, but I will be deleting it prior to publishing the video. API keys for any app or service are keys to the kingdom, if you will, and should never be shared or published in GitHub. So in other words, keep them secret, keep them safe. And like I mentioned before, we'll use that .env file for the API key in this video in just a moment. And with that out of the way, select Create API Key. And I'll name this one NodeJS Sender API Key. Doesn't really matter. Maybe you'll have a better name for it. As for permissions, you'll notice we have a couple different options here. Now you can choose the permission level that suits your use case, but I'll just select Restricted and come down here to Mail Send and give it the Mail Send permission. I'm following the principle of least privilege in this case because I don't need this API key to have access to anything but sending email for this video. All right, now scrolling down, select Create and View, and then select this API key to copy it to the clipboard. All right, back in the editor, we'll add the SendGrid API key in the .env file. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit, and I'll bump this up to make things easier to see here. So in the .env file, we'll add this SendGrid _API _key environment variable, and I'm just going to paste that API key that I got from SendGrid right into there. And saving that, we can go over to the index file, and we'll start out by pulling in the .env package, which will help configure our environment variables. And notice here we're calling this config function off of that .env package. Next, we'll pull in the SendGrid mail package and assign it to this sgmail variable. And with that sgmail variable, we'll grab the API key from process.env, and we'll give it to SendGrid with this setAPIKey function. And now we'll add a small helper function to help keep things clean. And this will be an async function because we will be using async await. And inside this function, we'll add a try catch. And to send the message provided to this sendMail function, we'll call send on the sgmail object, passing the message in, and we'll also log out whether the message was sent successfully. And then of course, if there's an error, we want to know about that too, so we'll add a catch block with some logging. And finally, we actually need to invoke this function. So we'll call sendMail and pass it a message, which is really more of a message with options. So notice here that I have the to field set to an email address. This is another Gmail account that I created for this video. And the from address is the Gmail account that I created specifically and authorized as the sender address in SendGrid. And there's a subject field, which of course would show up as the email subject, and then this text will show up in the body of the email, which we'll see in just a moment. There's actually a bunch of other options and variations you can pass to this send method, but those will really depend on your use case, and I'd encourage you to check out the various examples on the SendGrid mail package repo, which I'll link in the description down below. All right, let's test it out. So I'll pull this back up here and get that out of the way. And in the terminal, we'll run node index.js. Well, of course, we need to save that first. Sorry about that. And we'll try that one more time. Excellent. So we see the message sent successfully. Now let's check Gmail to make sure that email went through. Over here in Gmail, you can see that this email just popped in. And in the subject it says NodeJS says hello. It's really that easy because it really is. And we can see that it's from chad.lewis.node@gmail.com. Nice. And that's really all there is to it. So you might think that sending an email programmatically would be super complicated. I know I did before I learned how to do this, but SendGrid actually makes it fairly straightforward. And just bumping this down a little bit, we got everything working with just about 25 lines of code. That's pretty awesome. Now, of course, this is just the most basic case, but really this is the foundation of what you could build. This send mail function could be used in an AWS Lambda function, a Firebase Cloud function, an API route in Next.js or Remix, or even just an Express app. Whatever makes sense for your app or project, this amount of code is the foundation for sending programmatic and automated emails to your customers. All right, folks, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it or learned something new, please give it a like, and if you're interested in more content like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any uploads. If you have a request for a particular type of content or tutorial, definitely leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.